listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast.
We're rolling.
And we're live.
Well, here we are.
We're on location.
We are. We're giving it another shot after our miserable attempt in the van a few weeks ago where it all went wrong. Yeah. Tonight you join us in the pub.
In the pub where it could go dreadfully wrong.
And
I'm off the alcohol free.
Oh God!
I'm on the booze.
It's on the real stuff. We are genuinely in a pub. This isn't some sort of clever trickery of the edit, and this isn't background music.
Yeah.
We're genuinely in a pub right now.
And it's going to be quite loud at times because there's dogs here. It's going to be barking.
There's dogs. There's people eating their dinner. We're on the pints, and Cookie the dog is under the table. So
he's all right. He's chilled out at the moment, but when another dog starts barking, it's going to. Food?
Oh, we should probably address the absence in the room as well.
Hang on. I'm here, you're here, Cookie's here, the beer.
That's it.
What are you on about?
That's it. We're missing nothing.
We're missing nothing.
All set for a quality podcast.
If this is like dreadful, then we know it. Chris brings the quality.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. If this is awful, then Chris is the. Oh, there we go. Chris has just joined us.
That's the best thing he's said in the whole 6 months.
So, Mr. Taylor was far too busy for us today. His schedule wouldn't allow for recording the podcast, so me and Phil thought, well, what's the best thing to do in his absence? And obviously it was head straight to the pub and see what happens.
Definitely. So we're not even sure how this is going to go, then what we're going to talk about. I don't really care, to be honest. I've got a pint of Heineken in front of me.
Yeah, to be honest, it's all good. We've actually, as usual, we've probably just got the best part of a podcast out the way before we actually started recording. This is kind of where the podcast came from. It's our chats that we have about guitars and the show and everything like that, and then we said, well, that might be interesting for other people, and we've just sat here for about 40 minutes getting all that out of the way, and we've got nothing left to say now.
I've got nothing left to say, so thanks for listening, and see you next week. So we're actually just talking about gear and condensing gear down and stuff like that. So I've got a gig on Saturday.
Whoa, he's got a gig, and it's not even June. Look at that.
I know.
Amazing.
I know. Well, we're rehearsing on Friday, which is nice.
We are. Blimey, that's a musical week.
It is.
A rehearsal and a gig for you in 2 days.
My fingers will not cope. And I was looking at making this gig really, really simple. I used to take electric and acoustic, and the guys, there's not enough time for me to change. The show runs really fast. So I've put the HX Stomp through its paces, and I've got an acoustic simulator on there, and it's like the simplest, most portable. I'm in and out in one trip. Right, one trip walker, that's me.
We know that.
Yeah.
This is the only man that manages to bring an entire theatre show's worth of gear into the theatre in one move. And it's mainly down to a bag which he's labelled Grandma.
That came, we used to have a sound guy, and what happened? Oh yeah, that's right. He had this massive rucksack, huge rucksack, and we said, "What have you got in that rucksack?" And he said, "My grandma." So, and do you remember we had one of the crew at the time ran over it?
Oh,
do you remember
Grandma?
That?
Oh, she nearly met her end under the wheels.
So that was quite interesting. But
it's quite weird when you see the look on theatre venues staff's face when we say, "Where's Grandma? Where's Grandma? Somebody go and get Grandma." And it's just what is it? It's a toolbox, basically, isn't it?
It's really cool. It's one of the is it McAllister? Yeah, McAllister, and it's got a big bottom.
Yeah.
Where you put all your big cables and bits and pieces, and then it's got another section above that where it holds strings, and then the top bit is like toolbox stroke guitar back. So it's just perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect. She has been into surgery a couple of times,
but she's still with us.
She's still
with us. Look at that.
What are you
Hunter's
looking
chickens just walked past.
at? Meh.
Smelled good. I'm sure there's a veggie option.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all
Non-hunters chicken.
non-Hunter's chicken, Hunter's veg. Oh, Chris, pipe down. So yeah, we're just discussing actually doing things, getting back to some music. We've got we've got the rehearsal this week, which is always, it's been, what has it been, a month or so since the last one?
Must be.
So that's going to be cool, and things are getting more serious now. We can't use the excuse of just getting together for a bit of a laugh. It's getting dangerously, well, not dangerously close quite yet, but when you've had 18 months off or whatever, then 2 months away is dangerously close, really, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah, and it's. I'm not an anxious person, but I kind of feel a bit of anxiety over it because 14 months since the show was last out, and my dog's doing a dance because he wants some treats.
Oh.
And 14 months is like, wow, it's I can't remember what it feels like to be out with the show, to be honest. And when you start thinking, I mean, looking at what's going to be done, I mean, our rehearsals and production days are 4 full days, and it's going to be 9 in the morning till like 9-10 at night.
Yeah,
each day.
yeah.
There's just so much to cram in.
Yeah.
And then we've got one show and a month off.
No, I know.
It's like, oh,
that
crap.
first show is going to be fantastic. Then we're going to have to hold it together for the next month.
And then we can say, can we have another 4 days rehearsal? We can't remember it.
Oh God. Oh, roll on the first gig, but to be honest, roll on September when it looks like things are more stable for us at least. I mean, every show will be great, and we'll be grateful to be back. But when we can actually get back into, there's nothing like being in the swing of like a run of dates, is there?
Well, do you know what? That's the one thing at the minute that is kind of. This could be a rant. Could this be a rant?
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, from the
Rant in
pub,
the pub.
I think it's time to cue the music.
Phil's rant.
Okay, so this has been staying in my mattress for quite a long time now.
Chris, you're missing out.
Yeah. What? Vaccines are being rolled out. Put your trousers back on. You're in the pub, for Christ's sake. Vaccines are being rolled out. Everybody's saying let's get back to normal.
Yeah.
We're as far from normal as you can imagine. I mean, just for example, a solicitor was supposed to come round today. Legally, they're allowed.
Yeah.
She wouldn't come because it was raining. She said I was going to stand in the garden.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, Chris. You know, to Chris.
I'm not trying to do a rant over it.
You know, it's like, okay, we'll stand in the garden. We'll tell the neighbours my business. You know what I mean? But it's just so frustrating for me that we're almost there, yet so many things are just not there, and there should be.
I know.
Legally, they're allowed to be.
I think it's gonna. The shadow of this is going to be with us for a little while, and I think that although, fingers crossed, June 21st is the date where things supposedly return to normal, I think we're going to be left with a bit of a wake of this, and I think it's going to take a while of no restrictions for people to kind of snap out of it.
Yeah.
We've been out a couple of times in the last week because you're allowed to now. We've been to a couple of places, nothing exciting, but been out for a couple of bites to eat and stuff like, and we've been left feeling a little bit cold from it all because you're expecting a warm welcome. I mean, this place is great, but we've been to some places and it's like, I don't know whether it's just people are out of practice with it or they're just...
Is that the staff or the public?
The public. No, the staff in these places have just been a little bit kind of, instead of like, all right, welcome to see you again, great to have some custom, it's kind of like, have you booked? Who are you? Right.
Oh, really?
We'll see if we can fit you in. And then a lot of these weird little habits have been picked up now of ordering everything on your phone. I'm worried that these things are going to stay because they're ways to cut costs.
It's funny you should say
It
that.
removes the personal interaction in the world, doesn't it?
There was when you say about what's going to stick from this, what's going to stay. Well, obviously they're trying to make us a cashless society.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've tried to pay cash a few times this week and just won't accept it. And I'm going, is this not legal anymore?
I know. They just sort of look at you like, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's all plastic now anyway. Spray it with some antibacterial or something, you know. I'll get me to breathe on it with alcohol breath or something. That'll sort it. But yeah, the things that are going to stick, you know, that you kind of don't want to. I remember sort of halfway through the first lockdown, there was a tribute act, and he was saying, oh, you know, we could be doing outside gigs at theatres, you know, in the theatre car parks were allowing. And loads of people in the business were so opposed to that because they were saying no, because that'll become the new normal. You know, like these outside cinemas and things. It's nice as a novelty, you know, but let's not make a habit out of something that's we don't want.
No, I think it's going to take a while. I think hopefully the summer, if we get some nice weather, which at the moment looks like a long shot, but
with outdoor gigs this weather,
exactly. But I think we just need a few months of normality for people to kind of go, oh, this is real. We can do this, and just for people to get back into the swing of things, whether it's back to their jobs, back to their old hobbies, and all that sort of stuff. I just think it's. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said this. I think I've said it on a few episodes of it. I think once people feel confident, it's going to be booming.
Yeah.
I mean, ticket sales are still really, really slow because they're probably worried about old blonde Boris doing the U-turn again. Like
the old variants, Indian variants, and all this sort of stuff. It doesn't fill you with confidence, does it? We just got to keep. So, touch wood. So far, everything sounds good, but it's...
And everything he's saying he's saying irreversible after every sentence. Isn't
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
Don't go back on that, please.
I know.
We've had enough of this.
We'll get there. Yeah. So we've got some good stuff happening. We've got some music. We've got rehearsals. We've got gigs. We've all got gigs coming up, and that's a nice thing for any musicians out there. Hopefully, you're all looking forward to getting back to some sort of work. However patchy it might be, some work.
Well, I've seen on Instagram and Facebook and what have you, like a lot of the big tour companies, Stage Truck, they've been getting back to, they've been like pulling Sainsbury's trailers and things like that, Tesco's. So they're getting back to work. You know, they're putting pictures on Instagram of them in arenas and venues and what have you. And there's quite a few function bands have been posting up this weekend.
Yep.
So they're back.
Well, weddings are back, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Well, you're doing a few, aren't you?
I'm doing a few. Yeah. It's very grateful to have some work coming in. Like I say, however patchy it might be, at the moment anything's better than nothing. I saw the cinemas open again this week. I actually saw a local cinema with some people coming in and out, which was really weird. I think it's going to be weird in these venues to have people. They're places that people are supposed to be. I always remember one of the weirdest experiences was being in a school or somewhere like that after hours.
Yeah.
Somewhere that there's usually a lot of people and then there's no people. It's very spooky, so I think it's going to be like kind of breathing life back into these places that have been probably quite spooky and dark for the last year or however long.
Well, apparently this is. I know a few theatres have done it. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they've got what they call the ghost light, where if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's basically a single light that people put on stage, and it basically means that we're not done, we'll be back, type thing, and it keeps the stage lit. And
I remember a few pictures from probably this time last year when it all was kicking off, and it was quite haunting pictures to see a single light on these big stages just in an empty arena or whatever.
There's a theatre not far from here, and there's just been the manager going in every day.
Really?
And he said it's a very weird place when you're just there on your own. There's no crew, there's no office staff. I'm just there by myself.
Actually, come to think of it, some of these theatres that we play, I mean, in this country we do have a real rich history of theatre, and some of them are so old, aren't they? I'm trying to think of, is it the one in Southend? There's a handful.
Is an old one.
There's been a handful. The one that we did in, we were in Scotland. Was it in Aberdeen? Was it the Tivoli in Aberdeen?
Yeah, that's an old one.
There's a few of these places that are seriously like, we're talking 100, 150 years old, and you, even when there's people around, you get a funny feeling. I remember that, it might have been that one. They've got all these kind of nooks and crannies and trapdoors and spaces behind the wall, like these little stairwells and stuff like that, and you think, what has happened over the years in these theatres? Because they were very often not just a theatre, they were like a community hub. I mean, a bit off topic. Do you remember when we were in Yorkshire and the Heath fire broke out, and it was going to be used as the safety hub for everyone to kind of huddle
Yeah.
and we were doing where were we? Was it Ilkley?
Ilkley. It was at King's Hall at Ilkley. Yeah.
Yeah, and this huge, it made the news at the time. This must be summer of 2019, I think.
It was.
It was a really big Heath fire broke out pretty much while we were on stage. We heard about it in the interval, and there was possibilities that the show was going to get stopped because they were going to need to evacuate. The emergency services were going to need to use the theatre.
At that point, we're going, which guitar do I like the most?
yeah. And I remember driving out of Ilkley, and it was just a blaze, wasn't it, in the dark? It was quite spooky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. We stopped to look back, and it's like just a glow.
Very weird. So theatres have in a lot of these, particularly some of the small towns we go to, they're like the central hub. So the history in them is amazing, and that's what, for me, I always get this strange little feeling when I walk back to a dressing room on my own. Sometimes they're right up in the rafters, aren't they? You go up these spiral staircases, and you think, who's been up here? What's been going on? I can. Did I just hear something? It's just Alan.
Well, in fact, I think we've got this. I don't know if it's this year or next year now, but we've got Rose's. I think I've got that right, at Tewkesbury, and that one, Eric Morecambe died in one of the dressing rooms. Literally died in one of the dressing rooms, and it's called the Eric Morecambe room. I'm thinking, well, now we know which one he died in.
Well, you can have that one. We'll give that one to Chris.
yeah.
For not being here tonight.
He's not here to defend himself, so yeah.
Well,
there's a theatre in the northeast. I want to say Newcastle, but it might be Sunderland. I can't remember. And that one has got, like the old trapdoors on stage. You know they use for panto when Widow Twanky pops up from somewhere. Well, that's got the only working Hessian trapdoor system. And if you go underneath the stage, there's all these pulleys and wheels and everything. Yeah, and all these trapdoors.
Wow.
Yeah, all it's still working.
Wow.
It's like, wow, that's been there, a long time.
Well, I definitely picked up on the spirit of Peter Kay when we did the Albert Halls in Bolton. He was with us that night, going garlic bread.
Yeah, that was one time where we felt really sorry for the crew, and I think we carried our own guitars in that night, did we not?
Oh, blimey, yeah, that place. Well, it's like a municipal sort of council type building. It's huge.
You can tell the council because they're like stopped us doing everything at any point.
Well, they were kicking off about the fact we were parked outside trying to unload. It's like we're playing it. But that had like a maze of alleyways and corridors. It was a nightmare. The theatre was like right in the middle of this huge complex, wasn't it? And it was like a mile's walk inside to get there with all the gear, through a few lifts, up some stairs. I remember that. That was quite the logistical feat.
It was, yeah.
Getting in and out of there.
Yeah, I remember thinking, oh, that was the one we did Britain Dry Guitars as well.
We'd done it in the morning, haven't we?
So we'd done a morning show, and then we went and did that.
Yeah.
My dog's going somewhere.
Cookie.
He's going that way. What's this? Cookie.
You're listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast.
He's round here. It's on the other side.
You've done a full circle. Oh my word. This is riveting listening.
This is, well, our listener appreciates quality broadcasting. It's what we've come to be known for at this point.
Yeah.
This is episode 27, by the way, I should say.
I doubt we'll make 28.
No, it's looking ropey from this point on, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe Chris brings the glamour to this.
Don't say that.
No.
Don't say that. That was a joke. We can't start that one.
Yeah.
We'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll never hear the end of it. I'll tell you what, we haven't had a Chris's Corner in a while, have we?
Well, he's speaking a lot more than he ever used to do.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, I prefer it when he was just like, he had his 3 minutes and that was it, and then he just kept quiet.
I think we've got the balance just right today. Just right.
We love you really, Chris. Oh, excuse me. Could I get another Heineken, please? Yeah, John?
I'll have a half a Timothy Taylor's, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. Ordering drinks on the podcast.
Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, no, I think that the balance of this is just right. Just right. There's the right amount of Chris involved.
There is. I wonder if Chris will write in and complain.
Chris, if you want to get in touch, you can find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Send us an email to... What was the email address you sent us today, Phil?
Oh,
Let me read it out.
oh
for the
yeah,
listeners.
yeah.
Let me get it. So we got a little email from the boss today, sending over a little bit of work for us to do, and he said, if you have any problems or questions, please feel free to email them to I'm a big boy and I'll deal with it at philsballs.com.
You see, I know where I went wrong on that. It's .co.uk.
I wonder why it bounced back.
Yeah, it's
I had an
.co.uk.
issue actually. I raised a query and it came straight back.
We're on the road. Our HR department's quite good as well, isn't it?
What's the address for that one?
But it varies, but usually it's deal with it yourself at couldn'tgiveatoss.com.
The other one you like to throw out every now and again is PayPal. Phil Walker at PayPal.org.
Phil Walker at
That's for different services, though.
Absolutely, and if you come see the show, that'll be on the interval screen.
So I know we usually talk about guitars, music, theatres, and all that kind of stuff. But I think we need to come round to the hot topic today. Driving up here, I've noticed the Burger King is nearly open. How are you feeling about this?
I nearly went in today.
Is it open? It looked nearly open.
I don't know. When I went to Aldi. Yeah, exactly.
Chris,
Shut up.
seriously.
I went to Aldi today, so it's opposite Aldi. I've run out of avocados.
Oh, as you do.
Yeah.
As one does.
I like to inject them with gin.
Oh, drinks are here.
Oh, thank you. I would.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Cookie, you have been a bit of a pain today, haven't you? Yes, you are.
It's all the excitement of the pub.
I know. I'm a bit like that
is.
myself. Yeah.
No.
It was nearly open when I went there, and I was thinking, I started exercising as well.
Oh, here we go. We got a new segment.
I bought some new trainers.
Yeah?
Yeah, some lightweight trainers, memory foam.
Oh,
Very good, very
Very
good.
nice.
Much cheapness from Sports Direct. Because I thought I need to get gig fit.
Yep.
Get a bit gig fit.
Yeah.
He says with another pint of Heineken in front of him.
And a dog biscuit.
Yeah, and I had halloumi and chips tonight as well, so it's not going well. But
There's
yeah,
still time. There's still
yeah.
time.
I decided I'm gonna, because I'm not a runner. Can't run.
You're not yet.
Well,
You're
not yet. No.
That might change.
In fact, I was thinking, have I ever run? No. I was going to say I once ran for a bus, but two things wrong with that: A, running, and B, public transport. Yeah. But yeah, so and I got myself some new tracky bottoms.
Nice.
And I'm aiming to do a 2 miles walk a day.
Nice. That's
So-
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, today I got to the end of the drive,
Right.
so that's a start.
Which is all of 4 meters?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, five,
I
maybe
thought-
5?
Yeah, no, I did quite well, because what set me off was, I'm overweight.
Oh,
It's
that's,
locked down
sorry,
to a
that's
big kind.
talking about weight. That food smells great.
Have you not eaten yet?
No.
Have you not?
Someone's just walked past with fish and chips and it smell. Oh my
Are you
word.
having dinner later?
I am, unfortunately. Yeah. Got some Elfie stuff to go back to, but I'll tell you what, I could devour that fish and chips right now.
Oh, mate, going vegetarian was like one of the biggest things was fish and chips for me. I love fish and chips.
Oh,
But there's a
so
local
good.
chippy that does battered halloumi and chips.
Ooh.
And it's the closest thing I can get.
Oh, yeah.
And it's brilliant. I love
We
it.
all
And it's
know
not-
that it's all about the batter, really, isn't it?
You can't taste the fish anyway in there, can you? It's just whatever it's been cooked in is what you're tasting, really. I suppose.
Right, come on. Tell us the Walker routine then. What
Oh
are you
yeah,
doing? What are you doing?
so yeah, well, the Mini Tourbus had to go for its first MOT the other day.
Oh, pass with flying colours.
Well, it was a bit of a
Bit of a smell in the back
It
seat.
was, yeah.
Warehouse
so
sits.
it's on Varnfield being here. Fail. No, so he went for the first time. The MOT station broke.
Oh,
So I left it there, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll walk back, and it was 1.7 miles home. I
Right.
thought I'll get a brisk walk on it and walk back. Can't take the dog because he's got a hip displacer, and he can't. He can only do about 100 meters, and you're done, aren't you? Yeah. And when I got home, I felt really good.
Well,
Obviously, I felt a bit of tingling in the thighs and everything, but
There we go.
I was like, I felt really good after that. And then they said, oh, sorry, it's broken, you got to come back. So I walked back for it, and it didn't feel quite so good that time. You know,
went past your peak.
yeah, over 3 miles in one day. I was like, and then booked it in for later on in the week, and walked there again. Walked back rather, and then picked it up, walked again. And it's like, it's quite good, is
They
this?
don't call him Phil Walker for nothing.
I know, I had the wrong last name. I was thinking should have been called Phil Sitz. But yeah, and so I thought, right, that's it. Then I'll make a routine of it every morning.
Nice.
Or nearly every morning. Some mornings I'm busy, but
Yeah,
most
yeah.
mornings I'm able
Yeah.
to. So I'm an early riser anyway. I'm
You're up
usually-
early, aren't you? That's the best time to get out.
Yeah.
Well, I say that. It's been miserable for the last week, hasn't it?
I mean, you and your lady run. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Are you a fine weather runner or?
No.
Any weather?
Reluctantly any weather. I mean, I do love running in the nice weather. I think things that with running, it's all about mindset, and I've found that anything that you can do to sort of trigger those positive feelings. For me, it's sunshine and good music. I have a playlist, and I have certain songs, and this is like scientifically proven that music triggers chemical reactions in your brain, and it's an absolute fact. And a lot of runners use this, that you can have certain songs that will be the equivalent of a cup of coffee or an energy drink, and so you get to a certain point in your run where you might be tapering off.
Yeah.
And I only have to hear one of these songs and I'm off. So nice
right,
weather
okay.
and some good music really does help. But
And do you
having
have
said
good
that,
shoes?
and good shoes, that does help. I've been through a few. Actually, we went for a run the other day. It was when we had all that wind and rain, and my other half is a personal trainer, so I do get stuck into it sometimes. And she kind of said, right, we're going out, I need to do a run. She's working to like different training schedules, so the weather can't get in the way. And so we just went
So is she constantly like?
constantly training. We train,
Wow.
She makes me train. We train pretty much every day for something. It's usually gym and weights one day and cardio and everything the other day. But anyway, this particular day we were going for a run and it was horrendous. And she dragged me out in it, and it was great. There's something about doing stuff that's hard that you hate it in the moment, but when you do it, like you said, you get that real buzz and that real sense of like achievement, and you feel good.
But it set me up for the day.
Yeah,
You know, and I had a really productive day.
that's why doing it in the morning is the best time. I love doing stuff like that in the morning because you're absolutely right, it sets you up. But your point about shoes, I came back, jumped in the shower, and I realised this is a bit gross, but
You left your shoes on.
No. I had not an ingrowing toenail, but I had a toenail that decided to just have a go at the adjacent toe, and it just sort of stuck itself into the toe. Oh. And a little bit of blood mixed with sweaty feet goes a long way. And when you get in the shower, it looks like an awful lot of blood. It's the tiniest little cut, but I thought, oh my god, I've lost my toe.
I'm said an ingrown toenail.
Oh no.
I know people laugh about them, but bloody hell, they're so painful. I went to the hospital, and this nurse I think she was from about, I don't know, pre-war, I think, because she got no bedside manner or anything. And she was just like, she looked at my toe and she just got this, I think it was iodine or something.
Right.
Didn't even, like, this may sting. I just went straight in there. And I went, I'm quite good for pain thresholds. I've got quite a high pain threshold. I had gallbladder problems for years, so I mean I got used to it. And I was like, oh, like that, just to the initial thing, and she went, oh, stop being such a baby. I was like, just stick iodine on an open fucking wound.
Let me stab you with it. But I think that's I think a lot of people will be thinking the same sort of thing. Just kind of I'm certainly thinking getting match fit again. It's surprising that I think only performers will appreciate this, but it's a workout. I tried to explain this to Soph, my other half, and she knows a thing or two about like cardio stuff, and she was like, "You what? Standing up there? What are you on about?" And I seriously, you do it. I think it's a mixture of not only the physicality, but it's the adrenaline,
Nervous
and
energy.
it's the pressure.
Yeah.
It is exhausting. It
It
saps
is.
you, and if you're not kind of well, like none of us at the moment, if you're not used to it,
Yeah.
then a little bit of kind of preparation goes a long way, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I'm going to have it a little bit easier when I go back, because you know our crew are great. You know, we've had a few crew changes, and you know, no disrespect to anybody else that's been on the show, but we've actually, let's put it, some very talented people have been made redundant.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
we wouldn't have these people if that hadn't have happened.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have them, and it's going to make my life a lot easier. You know, on the road now, and I'll be concentrating on what I should be,
Yeah.
which is going to the pub. No, but
Well, it's
but
not.
yeah,
It's not just it's not just the on-stage bit, though, is it? Because
No.
you're very often going on stage. Any working musician will know, whether you've done a wedding or whatever. There's usually been a long drive involved, at
Yeah.
the very least. Possibly a sleepless night the night before. And if you're doing dates back to back, then it's saving yourself as much as you can for that hour or the 2 hours on stage. Also, just things like eating. We've said it before, but like eating
Yeah.
while on the road, that all takes
it's
its
a lot
toll.
harder than being at home.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So to kind of psych yourself up and get up there and do an hour or 2 hours or whatever it might be, it's tough.
It's funny. The old Fitbit malarkey is like today. Well, I was out on me
You walk.
walking out this morning.
Yeah.
I admit I haven't done much walking for the rest of the day. I've been at home doing stuff, but I've got here almost 7,500 steps. Right
Yeah.
now, on a gig, I'm probably looking between 13 and 16,000 steps.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
just on an average gig day.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
You know,
I know. If only we were drummers, they get it easy. They get to sit down all night
they get to sit down and ferment all night, don't they?
and then go back to the hotel and have a lovely bubble bath. In Alan's case.
That's quite one of the things we'll do when we get back on the road is I think each of us should have like a talk through our routines.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
maybe even talk it through as we're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
like our man in Japan, it'd be like our man in Al's room type
Definitely.
thing.
Definitely.
Because I know Al when he gets back after a gig, he likes to get his bath bombs in, doesn't he? And
When we went to Ireland. We did a week in Ireland, and Al decided to go all out, and he brought a bath care kit with him. It had bath salts.
Didn't you buy it in? That's right. We stayed. We stayed in. Was it Cork Airport Hotel?
Yeah.
We stayed in all the best places. As you know.
We did.
Very posh.
That was quite cool.
It was lovely,
Waking
wasn't
up,
it?
looking out the window,
Yeah,
and seeing
yeah. We were there
the
2
planes
nights.
coming in. That was good.
Yeah. I remember we got in because we had a ferry and everything. We've been on the road since about 7 in the morning.
David lost his lunch on the ferry.
Yeah, he lost his lunch on the ferry. And we got there, threw the bags in the room, went into the hotel bar thinking we're in Cork, Guinness, and we said, I forget how many of us there were, 5 or 6 or something, and 6 pints of Guinness. She went, yeah, that's good, I've called last orders. I'm like, no!
Oh, no, yes.
Yeah.
But it was weird getting back from a gig at whatever it was, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then Al decides to run a bath.
Yeah,
Gets his essential oils out.
That's when he started it, I think,
Yeah.
because they had them for sale. That's where they came from. So.
Yeah, but see, I was talking to him about this last night. I said his morning routine, that would be a revelation. We could do a whole podcast on Al's morning routine when we're on the show. Because we usually have a meet time where it's like we meet in reception, meet at the van. Al likes to stay in bed until about 5 minutes before that meet point. At which point he drags himself, all of his clothes, his suitcase, possibly some of the bed items, the pillows. He just wanders into the
Half-used
bathroom. Yeah, into the bathroom, and then you hear the shower for about 3 minutes, and then he kind of reappears, and I think he's just stuffed everything into the suitcase. I'm like, wow, we've got 15 minutes. Should want to get out of bed, maybe? And he's like, nah. He likes to watch Minder. He watches a lot of Minder in the mornings. So there you go. There's a little insight.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, well, Chris is new, so we don't know what his routine's like. I should imagine it's going to be very structured and clean and tidy.
I should imagine Chris's routine probably involves waking up and tweaking a few helix patches.
Well, you'll find out because you'll be sharing with him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of morning yoga, something like that.
I love a good yogurt on the morning. Yeah. Hot strawberry or honey or something.
Oh, I've been thinking about tour food and thinking about how to get prepared there as well. I've gone off porridge, dried porridge.
See, I never did that. I was just really bad and wait until we hit cracks.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. I mean, I think probably the best podcast we've ever done.
I think it could well be. Yeah.
I think maybe this is the new format. We just meet up,
Come to the pub.
come to the pub.
It actually is the first podcast we've done since. No, the first one we was together. The rest of them we weren't.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
the first
that's
one we've
true.
actually met up on. It's weird.
The pilot episode was the only other one where we were actually in the
It was,
room,
yeah.
apart from the failed van attempt,
Yeah.
which we're still working on, and
We've
yeah,
got ideas how we can make that work. So
hopefully when we get back out there, we'll bring you with us, and yeah, we'll do this from the road, probably from another pub somewhere. It'll just be
Yeah,
the same,
it'll
but
be just from the pubs,
various
won't
parts
it?
of the UK.
yeah, you're probably right. So well, there we go. We're in the pub, and we should probably carry on pubbing right now.
Yeah.
And you need a drink, don't you?
Me, yeah, I do. Oh, you're talking to Cookie.
Talking to the dog. Yeah. Do you want a beer?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
All right, guys, thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Cheers.